Hello friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name's Amy, I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study, and we are in a brand new book of the Bible. We are in the book of Judges. Now this is a transition because Joshua, son of Nun, has passed away, and instead of having a prophet, which is really what Moses was, and then what Joshua became, they're going to have a series of judges. So what that looks like is like a series of people who basically tell Israel they're not doing something right, and then they're put into a position of power to be making the decisions like you would expect more of a ruler. Not quite a king, but maybe more like a prime minister or a president, if you will. Because they do kind of get elected. So I mean, and we do elect our judges here. So you could kind of think of it in that kind of judges way. Okay? Israel fights the remaining Canaanites. After the death of Joshua, the Israelites asked the Lord, "Who will be the first to go up and fight for us against the Canaanites?" The Lord answered, "Judah is to go. I have given the land into their hands." Then the men of Judah said to the Simeonites, their brothers, "Come with us into the territory allotted to us to fight against the Canaanites. We in turn will go with you into yours." So the Simeonites went with them. When Judah attacked, the Lord gave the Canaanites and the Perizzites into their hands, and they struck down 10,000 men at Bezek, Bezek. It was there that they fought Adonai Bezek. It's Adoni Bezek, and fought against him, putting to rout the Canaanites and the Perizzites. Adonai Bezek fled. I've got a feeling like they mean the Lord of Bezek, like the person who's in charge. But they chased him and caught him and cut off his thumbs and big toes. Wow. Okay. Then Adonai Bezek said, 70 kings with their thumbs and big toes cut off have picked up scraps under my table. Now God paid me back for what I did to them. Oh, I see. So it was like part of divine justice. They brought him to Jerusalem, and he died there. The men of Judah attacked Jerusalem also and took it. They put the city to the sword and set it on fire. After that, the men of Judah went down to fight against the Canaanites living in the hill country, the Negev and the western foothills. They advanced against the Canaanites living in Hebron, formerly called Kiriath Arba, and defeated Sheshai, Sheshai, and Ahiman, Ahiman, and Talmai, Talmai. From there, they advanced against the people living in Debir, formerly called Kiriath Sefer. And Caleb said, "I will give my daughter Aksah, Acsah, in marriage to the man who attacks and captures Kiriath Sefer." Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, took it. So Caleb gave his daughter Asaka to him in marriage. So to her first cousin. We learned from genetics why this is a bad idea. Later, it leads to birth defects. This is gross. And I'm glad we don't do that anymore. I gotta say, for sure. One day, when she came to Othniel, Othnniel, so her father-in-law, she urged him to ask her father for a field. When she got off her donkey, Caleb asked her, "What can I do for you?" Okay, so her husband, I do believe that's right? Yes, her husband wanted her to ask her father for a field. Okay. He said, "What can I do for you?" She replied, "Do me a special favor. Since you have given me land in Negev, give me also a spring of water." Then Caleb gave her the upper and lower springs. Okay. The descendants of Moses' father-in-law, the Kenite, Kenite, went up from the city of palms with, and that's got and footnote, that is Jericho, with the men of Judah to live among the people of the desert of Judah in the Negev near Arad. Then the men of Judah went with the Simeonites, their brothers, and attacked the Canaanites living in Zephath, Zephath, and they totally destroyed, that's going to be the irrecoverably giving over, so burning down completely, the city. Therefore, it is called Hormah. Hormah means destruction. The men of Judah also took, and the Septuagint Judah did not take, Gaza, Ashkelon, and Ekron, each city with its territory. So there's a disagreement here, and I would say they did not take Gaza. That's for sure. The Lord was with the men of Judah. They took possession of the hill country, but they were unable to drive the people from the plains because they had iron chariots. As Moses had promised, Hebron was given to Caleb, who drove from it the three sons of Anak. That's Anak. The Benjamites, however, failed to dislodge the Jebusites, who were living in Jerusalem. To this day, the Jebusites live there with the Benjaminites. Now, the house of Joseph attacked Bethel, and the Lord was with them. When they sent men to spy out Bethel, formerly called Luz, the spy saw a man coming out of the city and said to him, "Show us how to get into the city, and we will see that you are treated well." So he showed them, and they put the city to the sword, but spared the man and his whole family. Then he went to the land of the Hittites, where he built a city and called it Luz, which is the name of it is to this day. But Manasseh did not drive out the people, of Beth Shan, that's Shan, or Tanakh, Taanack, or Dor, or Eblim, or Megiddo, and their surrounding settlements from the Canaanites who were determined to live in that land. When Israel became strong, they pressed the Canaanites into forced labor, but never drove them out completely. Nor did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites living in Gezer, Gezer, but the Canaanites continued to live there among them. Neither did Zebulun drive out the Canaanites living in Kitron, Kitron, or Nahalol, Nahalol, who remained among them, but they did subject them to forced labor. Nor did Asher drive out those living in Acco, or Sidon, or Ahalab, Ahlab, and Akzib, or Helba, or Akzib, A-C-Z-I-B, Helba, H-E-L-B-A-H, or Afik, A-P-H-E-K, or Rehob. And because of this, the people of Asher lived among the Canaanites, inhabitants of the land. Neither did Naphtali drive out those living in Beth Shemesh or Beth Anath, but the Naphtalites, I don't know, I guess that's how you say that, Naphtalites, too lived among the Canaanite inhabitants of the land. And those living in Beth Shemesh and Beth Anath became forced laborers for them. The Amorites confined the Danites to the hill country, not allowing them to come down into the plain, but the Amorites were determined also to hold out in Mount Heres, H-E-R-E-S, Ajalon, A-I-J-A-L-O-N, and Shalabim, S-H-A-A-L-B-I-M. But when the power of the house of Joseph increased, they too were pressed into forced labor. The boundary of the Amorites was from Scorpion's Pass, I've got a footnote of F, Akrabim, A-K-R-A-B-B-I-M, to Selah, S-E-L-A, and beyond. Okay. Wow. Now we know that there is not a whole lot of complete conquering going on, and there is then a mix of populace still in the area up to the, into the first part of the Judges. So until the next video, friends. Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. We are in Bible study. I am an ordained minister. My name is Amy. We are in the Nev, and we will be through next year. We are in the book of Luke, and we are doing verses 47 through 62, which is two parables. And with this video, we will be caught up on the book of Luke. All the rest of the book of Luke is available already in the Bible study playlist. We started in the book of Luke, and we actually jumped around a little bit. So they're individual parables, and then we eventually started doing whole chapters at a time. Okay, so let's jump in here. This one's called Jesus Arrested. Verse 47. While he was still speaking, a crowd came up, and a man who was called Judas, one of the 12, was leading them. He approached Jesus to kiss him, but Jesus asked him, Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss? When Jesus' followers saw what was going to happen, they said, Lord, should we strike with our swords? And one of them struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his right ear. Now, they didn't wait to see what Jesus said. They asked and did it immediately. No, we don't do that. We have to wait for him to respond. But Jesus answered, no more of this. And he touched the man's ear and healed him. Of course, he is the Messiah. Then Jesus said to the chief priests, the officers of the temple guard, and the elders who had come from him, am I leading a rebellion that you have to come with swords and clubs? Every day I was with you in the temple courts, and you did not lay a hand on me. But this is your hour when darkness reigns. So he's rebuking them, but with words. Peter disowns Jesus. Then seizing him, they led him away and took him into the house of the high priest. Peter followed at a distance. Of course he did. Peter is his ride or die, right? In the truest sense. But when they had kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and had sat down together, Peter sat down with him. A servant girl saw him seated there in the firelight. So that's he made a mistake. Should have put himself in the firelight if he was trying to just find out what was going on. I get what he was doing. He was kind of cozying up to be near the fire, see what he could hear. But you need something. You need a hood or something to cover your face. Okay. A servant girl saw him seated there in the firelight. She looked closely at him and said, "This man was with him." But he denied it. "Woman, I don't know him." A little later, someone else saw him and said, "You're also one of them." "Man, I am not," Peter replied. About an hour later, another asserted, "Certainly, this fellow was with him, for he is a Galilean." And he's got an accent. They could tell. Peter replied, "Man, I don't know what you're talking about." Just as he was speaking, the rooster crowed. The Lord turned and looked straight at Peter. And then Peter remembered the word the Lord had spoken about him. "Before the rooster crows today, you will disown me 3 times. And he went outside and wept bitterly. Jesus knew what was going to happen, and he told him so. But Peter also didn't have much of a choice. Now, you could think he could have said something, and if he admitted it in that moment, he would have been dying with Jesus. He would have been up there on the cross right next to him. And then he wouldn't be able to fulfill what Jesus gave him to do. Because what Jesus gave them to do was to create a church and carry the word of God beyond just the life of one person. Part of the problem that's been in the history, and that we'll get into next year when we're in the Old Testament, because it's really more of a learn what not to do instead of what behaviors to repeat, is that the people only stay good during the years of the prophets when they have a prophet they're willing to listen to, or a king who's holy that they're willing to listen to, and then they hold firm. And the moment that they don't have that authority figure in that full stuff, right, in the full there to put the might on, to shame, to guilt, to whatever they got to do, the moment they don't have a Moses, they start praying to the gods of the people around them, the kings around them. They start acting like they're people other than who they were supposed to be, which is the children of God. So what he needed was for this thing to take. He needed these apostles to live. And he's their friend. He's their Messiah. He's our Messiah. Of course he wants us to live. He's the Son of God. They only want to give love. What we choose to do with the life and the free will they give us is on us. It's not really on them. So let's remember that as we go about the world, we are all accountable for the choices we make. He gives us free will. But that free will gets us into messes. And if we made the mess, well, then we got to clean it. If he comes in and cleans it up for us, we'll just keep making that mess. We know, because that's what happens, right? Human beings. Until a little bit from now, friends, in the book of Revelations. Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name is Amy, and I'm an ordained minister. We're in Bible study. We're in the Niv. And with every ending, there is fresh life. We are in book 4 of the Psalms, and we are in Psalm 90, and we're going to do the whole thing. A prayer of Moses, the man of God. Lord, you have been our dwelling place throughout all generations. Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. You turn men back to dust, saying, return to dust, O sons of man. For 1,000 years in your sight are like a day that has just gone by, or like a watch in the night. You sweep men away you sweep men away in the sleep of death. They are like the new grass of the morning. Though in the morning it springs up new, by the evening it is dry and withered. We are consumed by your anger and terrified by your indignation. You have set our iniquities before you, our secret sins in the light of your presence. All our days pass away under your wrath. We finish our years with a moan. The length of our days is 70 years, or 80 if we have the strength. Yet their span is but trouble and sorrow, for they quickly pass, and we fly away. Who knows the power of your anger? For your wrath is as great as the fear that is due you. Teach us to number our days aright, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Relent, O Lord. How long will it be? Have compassion on your servants. Satisfy us in the morning with your unfailing love, that we may sing for joy and be glad all our days. Make us glad for as many days as you have afflicted us, for as many years as we have seen trouble. May your deeds be shown to your servants, your splendor to their children. May the favor of the Lord our God rest upon us. Establish the work of our hands for us. Yes, establish the work of our hands. That's a beautiful sentiment. Amen to that, Moses. Till the next video, friends.